very interesting points that you've touched upon, Mr. Pai, and of course we'll come to each of those over the next couple of minutes. Very importantly, you mentioned that the dollar could become even stronger. We've seen it become strong in the past few days, but particularly with respect to the IT sector, how could the announcements that he's looking to make, how could that really impact India's IT sector with respect to his H-1B visa policy, given the flip-flops that he's made in the recent past with respect to this policy?
There's a lot of misinformation about the H-1B, which I think we need to resolve. People say that Indian companies bring in low-cost labor. This is not low-cost labor. If you get a person from India to work there for a short while and pay them $80,000, what the company that hires the person pays is about $125,000, $130,000. $80,000 of what the person gets, but what the company charges $125,000. Certainly, people are not getting people from outside because they're cheaper. They're getting them because they're a very great quality. They need help. They don't find enough people. So I think that myth of low cost should be dispelled with. But I think, see, my view is Indian companies today in Trump 2 are in a much better shape to navigate whatever happens in H-1B because their exposure to H-1B is quite less. Point number one. Point number two, they ramped up local hiring. I mean, Infi only has, I think, 10, 15, 20,000 people locally hired there. So they got local hiring, they got training facilities, they've changed the revenue model. And third, offshore has increased. If Trump clamps up, offshore increased tremendously, India will benefit. So I don't see great worry.
Yes, Mr. Pai, in fact, we've been speaking to foreign policy experts, all of whom say that India's relationship with the United States is on steady footing. But in your opinion, what could be some of the pain points and how do you think this relationship is going to shape up in Trump 2.0? And most importantly, about Elon Musk's involvement in Trump's administration. He's going to head the Dodge department, but he also remains very much a businessman still.
Well, I think relationship will be better because, one, Prime Minister Modi has a good relationship with President Trump. Two, the deep state in the State Department in the U.S. will be kept down. They'll be cleaned up. That's what Trump has said. Last time he said he will drain the swamp in Washington. Didn't happen because he did not have people. Now he's got people. He knows what is wrong. He knows what the FBI did to him. He knows what the CIA did to him. He knows what the State Department does to him. He's going to clean up. And the deep state is enemy of India. They've been interfering in politics. They're all hand in glove with George Soros. And that entire gang will be cleaned up by Trump. That's what Trump has said and his people have said. So I think that will be very good for India because we won't have this extra constitutional extra constitutional NGO people trying to interfere in politics outside. They had a regime change in Bangladesh. We've seen that. They tried in other places. The next point, which is very important, is on business. I think we can sit across the table and solve it because Trump knows his biggest enemy is China. Because China is 30% of global manufacturing. China has got a $1 trillion trade surplus last year. And there's no way that you can fight against China without India. So India, US will come closer together.
So, Mr. Pai, you're hinting at a win-win situation on this, and we do know that Elon Musk also met with Indian entrepreneurs just over this past weekend, just 2 days before Donald Trump actually assumes office once again. But the big order that has also come in ahead of his swearing in was the issue of the TikTok ban, which has now been averted. How do you see the relationship, particularly of big techs this time around with Trump 2.0, and how will that in turn set the tone for the rest of the world with respect to the monopolies that big tech companies have created all across the world?
Well, big tech was asked to bend, they choose to crawl. That's what I said about the Indian media in emergency, right? The big tech played along with the Biden administration. They accepted censorship. They shut down everybody. They were partisan. They played games. They shut down Trump. And Trump knows this very well, that they were against Trump. Now they funded the Democrats. So they're all cutting favor with Trump. They're paying money to be in the inaugural. They're all sucking up. And Trump knows that very well. Trump will handle big tech. Big tech has got a lot to lose if Trump comes up. And I think there's going to be greater action on this digital monopolies. Monopolies like Google and Facebook, because they are digital monopolies. I think there's going to be action there. EU is taking action. In the US too is taking action. Even for Microsoft in AI, there'll be action. So I think the big tech will crawl before Trump. And Trump knows how to control them. Because, with their behavior, with the Biden administration, was a behavior of subordinates with a superior. because they choose to do the bidding of that Biden administration, even against the law, by shutting off people and doing everything else.